I'm here to tell you guys a story. A story of 3 frames dedicated to the goddess Kaali, goddess Durga, and goddess Laxmi. With the festive season right round the corner, what's sweeter time than this to bring you this story? These frames had to be made as a set on a single theme, a celebration of the goddess. In conversation with the client, all the basics were decided. And yet, even though I have made frames like these 100 times before, these were going to be different. So get yourself that cup of hot chai and sit with me as we savor this process, one frame at a time. These round frames are old clock frames I have rescued from the dumpster. As and when I collect a bunch, I restore the surface, repair any broken bits, and sand them down to the grain. Since these have already been pre-sanded, I am just cleaning them lightly. Then, I begin by priming them with a mixture of 1 part gel primer to 3 parts of water. This allows the raw wood to properly accept paint. Some frames have really slim margins, just 2 inches wide, so it is important to practice the size and design to fit the available space. I am beginning to paint the frame devoted to goddess Kaali. The outer frame features a repeat motif, the fierce face of the goddess painted in a vibrant yellow, alternating with her favorite lal joba flowers. The face and the floral motif forms a tight circular border around the center, which we will plan a little later. This is exactly where these frames were very different from anything I have attempted so far. The client did not want fabric mounts as I typically use for these frames. She wanted hand-painted backs. For the Kaali frame, I am painting a red and white checkered background that reflects the strong geometry of Sambalpuri Ikash, a preference specifically requested by my Odia client. This simple yet striking pattern also evokes the checkered floors often seen in old Bengali homes. Work on the second frame has started. This one is dedicated to goddess Durga. As always, I have started by planning the frame. This one is the most challenging of the three frames because unlike the Kaali frame, it does not rely on symmetry. The design is a random arrangement of elements across the thin border. So I take my time testing the pattern again and again on paper strips cut to the exact size of the frame. Once I'm sure of the placement, I start transferring the pattern with pencil. The first lines are faint. I only sharpen them with pen after I'm happy with the proportions and detail. Once I'm satisfied, it's time to start painting the frame. The puja pandal, soon to start springing up across the country, especially in Kolkata, was the starting point for this frame. I decided to seat the entire Shakti Parivar on the outer periphery. Shiva, Kartikeya, Ganesha, Laxmi, Saraswati, Harvahana, and even the demon Mahisasura. All elements that typically form a critical part of the Durga Puja pandal tableau find a place on this frame. The colors are bright and bold, signaling celebration with heavy hints of gold. And here, painting on unprimed MDF has become my nemesis. It takes multiple coats and more to get the finish I want. The work begins on the Laxmi frame. The colors here are much brighter and more vibrant, in contrast to the bold earth tones used in the earlier frames. And in this one, I will return to the idea of the symmetric motifs all around the outer border, framing the central figure of the goddess. Among these repeat motifs are traditional alpanas and the red feet of the goddess, both symbols of auspiciousness and abundance. They are paired with the owl, the Devi's Vahana, which sits quietly, almost watching over the composition. But the most eye-catching part of this frame is the intricate jal-style background, delicate, luminous, and entirely different in mood from the earlier pieces. And at this point, the frames are done and I have sent them off to the framer. But my work here is not done at all, and you will soon see how and why. This project is really close to my heart because, except the MDF bags, every part of this project comes from something that has once had another life. Old clock frames, scrap wood. Later, I will add leftover fabric, beads, metal, all rescued, stored, and finally brought together here. These recycled clock frames will have a series of trims attached to the bottom edge and a concept that mimics a dream catcher. Each of these elements, like the wooden chips I'm working on here, and a bunch of others I will add later, are all found objects and upcycled scrap material. The idea here is to include a small painting within the large painting. These unusually shaped and sized objects I'm finishing will become part of the hanging trims. This circular bit of wood, a sampler I had saved from a laminate catalogue, is perfect for painting the round face of Kaali, for example. And I will show you exactly how these little painted trims come together with a larger frame in just a bit. This next trim is for the Laxmi frame. This long solid chunk of wood was lying forgotten on a dusty floor of a woodworking workshop. I am painting a single hand here, holding a lotus. It feels right to isolate just one gesture to match the grace of the goddess in the frame. These chunky little blocks of woods were salvaged from a construction site. I attached a couple of hooks to the back and painted just the outer rims, leaving space in the center for something more tactile. Into this space, I will be mounting scrap fabric, turning these humble blocks into bead-like trims that will hang from the frames. One more way of adding texture, story, and surprise to the final piece. And finally, the frames are back from the workshop. In the final artwork, the painted backgrounds have small prabhavalis which hold the finished illustration of each goddess. We have here the hand-painted tassels. The hand of the goddess holding the lotus, I feel, would make a lovely trim, and one that has a very unique scale also. The trishul for goddess Durga. The bell or the ghanta also. Yet another hand-painted wooden found object. The hand-finished beads. Literally takes me half a day to make one bead. Then this one again is handmade. Few other handmade accents made with recycled paper, cowrie shells that I thought would represent Laxmi. Yeah, so here is what I have been able to think of in terms of the trims for the frame. Time now to start attaching the trims. I begin with the Kaali frame first. I just play a little bit with the various elements and see what looks good where before going ahead and finalizing the trims. Two frames done, one final to go. And as I'm finishing them, I'm laying them down to photograph them so I can share the final result with you guys and also keep some images for my record. So, two of the frames in this set are done. They have been finished, photographed, and put away. And I'm racing against time right now to finish the third frame, which happens to be this Durga frame. Any day that I'm trying to finish one of these frames on is usually as chaotic as this because I am racing against time, polishing, finishing, assembling the entire frame. All the different elements need to come together. And I also prefer to shoot them and put the frames away in one day so the work doesn't get carried forward to the next day. And today we are like very close to sunset, so I will lose light also, which will come in the way of photographing these pieces properly. So I'm really racing against time. Quite frankly, it's because it is a set of 3 today that I'm able to even dare to shoot this for YouTube. Otherwise, when I finish a set of 9 or sometimes a set of 8, it gets really chaotic. But this one is a good project to share with you guys. Although it is chaotic, as you can figure from the chaos I have created here in the bedroom. But that's alright, I will think about cleaning it all out. The beach is finally done. And in good time, there is still bright sunlight out there, so I'm going to very quickly shoot. The final reveal will be with you in just a bit. With Durga Puja right around the corner, it feels extremely special sharing this video with you guys. I do hope you liked it. If you did, do come back for more. I will be here on this channel as promised again next week.